It was all quiet on the promotion of the proper human sexual rights and Ghanaian family values bill until U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris came into town this week.
A great deal of work in my career has been to address human rights issues, equality issues across the board, including as it relates to the LGBT community. And I feel very strongly about the importance of supporting the freedom and supporting and fighting for equality among all people.
That comment and the response by the President, Nana Akufo-Addo, that suggested the bill had been watered down has since triggered a reaction from Speaker of Parliament, Alban Babin.
The bill will be passed. This is the word to His Excellency the President. There is no way he can intervene. That answer he gave. That is now before Parliament. And when he gets to a stage that he will come in. Hey, please. This is legislation. This is not execution.
And now, after the Speaker dared the legal committee to not be afraid and present its recommendation on the draft bill, they have acted. At a review of the draft bill, the legal committee has recommended some changes to the bill in an 18-page document that is now due for consideration by the entire floor of the House. The bill will punish teaching or inducing a child into sexual acts other than what it calls the binary category of male or female, or anyone who evokes the interests of the child in an activity prohibited under the Act to not less than 6 years in prison and not more than 10 years in prison. The name of the bill has changed from Promotion of Proper Human Sexual Rights and Ghanaian Family Values to Human Sexual Rights and Family Values Bill. Ranking member on the Constitutional, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs Committee, Bernard Ahiafo, says the committee is determined to see through the passage of the bill.
We are looking at the bill in that context, taking into account our culture, practices, our religious practices as enshrined in the 1992 Constitution. So I assure everybody that we'll make sure the bill will come into law in a manner such that it will achieve its purpose and at the same time will not trample upon anybody's right.
It remains to be seen how much of external pressure that the country can resist, though. Already, President Akufo-Addo's non-committal response on the subject during the press conference with the U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris has drawn criticism from the backers of the bill. President of the Catholic Bishops' Conference, Most Reverend Matthew Jemfi, is quoted by the Catholic Trends website as saying the president should have been more upfront in that briefing. He said, quote, "We expect our president to have spoken more boldly, to say what the people of Ghana at least have said up till now," unquote. Those vehemently opposed to the bill will disagree. It leaves President Akufo-Addo since the intense, often divisive debate on the bill began. Judith Awachitando, TV3 News.
Let's now speak to the ranking member of the Constitutional, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs Committee and MP for Akachi South, Bernard Ahiafo, who joins us via Zoom. Thank you so much for your time, Honorable. Are you and your members happy with what the committee has come up with so far?
Well, let me use the opportunity to thank you very much for giving me the opportunity and say a very good evening to your cherished viewers and listeners, not forgetting the people of Akachi South constituency. In fact, the committee has done its work. The report of the committee is ready. It's been laid on the floor of Parliament. It is now left to the Business Committee to program the second reading of the bill, and surely it will be passed into law. I must state that Parliament is unanimous. Both sides have agreed in a way that this is a bill that must be passed into law. And I look forward to seeing that the bill is actually passed into law.
What informed the changes we are seeing in the bill now?
Well, the Committee on Constitutional, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs is made up of eminent lawyers, very senior ones for that matter. So in passing a bill into law, we look at the existing laws of the country, and we also look at the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana. And since this is a bill that in a way borders on fundamental human rights, Article 12 and Chapter 12 of the 1992 Constitution was dedicated to fundamental human rights. So we look at the provisions in the Constitution and ensure that no provisions in the bill is contrary to the provisions in the 1992 Constitution, because as lawyers we know that if Parliament passes a law which is in contravention with the Constitution, to the extent of its inconsistency or contravention, it is null and void. So the committee members wouldn't want to pass any law which will contradict the provisions of the Constitution and the existing laws. For that matter, we look at the Criminal and Other Offences Act, particularly Section 104, realize that it proscribes unnatural carnal knowledge, and there is a punishment for the unnatural carnal knowledge. Now, we try to realign the punishment in the Criminal and Other Offences Act together with the punishment in the Anti-LGBTQ bill, so that we don't put the prosecutors into an election, such that the prosecutor who doesn't like your face will prosecute you under a Criminal and Other Offences Act if the punishment in the Criminal and Other Offences Act is higher than that of the Anti-LGBTQ bill, which will be passed into law, and vice versa. So we need to realign the punishment regime. We also have to look at the subjective view in the bill and make sure that we remove every subjectivity in the bill. We must also try as much as possible to make sure that there is no ambiguity in the bill. We also look at Article 108 of the 1992 Constitution, which states clearly that a private member cannot bring a bill that will have a financial implication. And the aspect of the bill that has financial implication, we ask that those aspects be deleted. And these and many more are the proposed amendment by the committee to the bill.
We've seen different reactions to that of Uganda. How would you describe what Ghana has now? Some are saying it's tough and a rigorous one. How would you describe it?
Well, I understand the Uganda bill initially was passed and they've taken the matter up at the Supreme Court, which shut it down in the sense that they couldn't have the required number to pass the bill into law, just like what happened in the case of Justice Abdullahi versus the Attorney General. And we are going to ensure that such a thing doesn't happen in Parliament of Ghana. We have the required number to pass this particular bill into law. And we have ensured as a committee that no provision in the anti-LGBTQ bill, taking into consideration the proposed amendment to the bill by the committee, will be repugnant with the 1992 Constitution of the Republic of Ghana or any other existing law. For that matter, we'll pass the bill without any problem at the Supreme Court in any manner whatsoever.